Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, put your feet up. It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast with Declan McCormack, Wayne Mullins, and Dan.
Three lads, one podcast.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, we go to Deckys Room 101. City making their own kits, a good or a bad idea. We find spats from the Bray game, as well as freedom. We have our treaty preview, but most importantly, we get a bit of an update from the Dogger Barry. All of this and more on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Welcome along to the Other Three Amigos podcast. It's season 4, episode 30, episode 206 in total. A reminder, we are your award-winning podcast. Yes, someone did give this podcast an award at one point in time. Our 206th episode, we've just bypassed the X-Files on episodes. A reminder, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/ToeTap, where you can join us for €5 per month. Or if you want to help us out a little bit more, but still get the same amount of shit, you can throw us a tenner. Be sure to retweet, as it's so important to help the pod grow. Even likes give us a big helping hand. We are the proud sponsor of Jack Doherty's booth, still sitting, of course, at that €100 for Marymount. Hopefully he'll be bagging some more goals soon enough. Las Damas was released today, and we'll segue into introducing our first amigo here on the podcast. Interesting. Decky. Dan! Just to get my attention, or is just want to hit the button?
Yes, it is. Jack Doherty's not scoring goals, right? Yeah. So we need to substitute him. We're doing a Jack Doherty's coming off, I think. While he's not playing, I think we need to have another player. And I suggest Jade Numa.
I was feeling Keane Coleman.
The thing is, it's just like it's trying to pick a player because nobody is scoring regularly, and obviously we want to give Marymount as much money as possible. Like, would it be mad altogether, like, to say just?
No, I know what you're going to say. No, that is mad. You're not doing that.
He better get hitting that Patreon €10, lads.
Yeah, I think
we could do a tenner a goal. Hard.
We could go a tenner a goal. We could go a tenner a team goal until Jack reappears.
Until Jack, go on. That's the one.
So any game Jack doesn't start, tenner a goal.
The team goals, team goals are a tenner. Yeah,
it could be quite pricey, lads.
Could. Might be difficult.
Jack may not start again for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Jack.
What's the most goals we could score? How many games are left?
What have we played? 16, so 36, so 20 games left, is it? If you're not counting cup games. If you're not counting, so that'd be about 32 or 33 goals.
No,
if you were to match our XG.
Only league games. We're not having a 7-0 revenge defeat of Wilton Shopping Centre. All right, that's not happening. League goals.
Well, and so okay, be about 35 league goals.
I mean, there's no need to really introduce you now, but it is Declan McCormack and Wayne Mullins, everybody. Decky, how did you get on recording Las Damas?
Yeah, grand. Look, I mean, Dan, it's its own entity, its own beast.
Follow the Twitter page, by the way.
Oh yes, I mean that's one bone of contention. Oh, actually, I have two things I need to get off my chest. One, we know how many people listen to this, and we know how many people are following the Las Damas Twitter page, and we're not impressed, people. We are not impressed. So please do help us out and follow ToeTap Las Damas. The second thing, Dan, is I owe an apology, and I'm always a man to hold our hands up, want to hold his hands up, admit his mistakes. But last week you inquired about men's players attending the women's games. And I said, no, there was nobody at the treaty game. There was nobody at any game, etc. And nobody from the club, but a concerned listener did inform me that both Evan McLaughlin and Nathan Wood were in Turner's Cross for the treaty game. They were somewhat incognito and keeping a low profile, but both were there, so I owe both Evan McLaughlin and Nathan Wood an apology for
Fair play.
Stating that there was no men at that game.
I think you owe everyone an apology, really.
Are we just talking about the treaty game and saying that there was no players at the treaty game, or are we just talking about for things in general, Wayne, you know?
Just life, I think.
Yeah, life, yeah.
Dick, you got a new haircut as well, I'd say.
Dan, I had that haircut last Monday. It was actually, I got it cut this day last week, and it's taken you a week to recognise it. But look, it's nice.
You've grown into it,
you
know.
my
it's
head,
matured.
My head is slowly fitted into the haircut. It took about a week. But look, thanks for noticing, Dan. It's nice to have it recognised.
Of course. We now go in to a bit of Academy Watch. Under-20s had no game. The under-17s beat Waterford 1-0. Jaden O'Donovan with the goal. They drew with Waterford, or the under-15s, drew with Waterford 2-2. It was Killian Murphy and David Dunn. And the under-14s had no game at all. That concludes our...
It's good to see Killian Murphy win an Oscar and scoring for under-15s.
Fair play to him.
Multi-talented.
Did Killian Murphy really ever do it for the parish? Like, I mean, has he got a bit of notions of himself now?
Well, we all would, wouldn't we? Which now, you're talking about Killian Murphy the player or the actor?
Well, I'm hardly on about the 15-year-old child, in fairness.
I don't know.
Dan,
Becky's here, who knows?
Dan, hey, Dan, we finished second in the sports category at the first ever Irish Podcast Awards, and we haven't shut up about it. 3 years later, you're still mentioning it in every intro. Like, so to accuse Killian Murphy of maybe hyping up his Oscar, we're probably not in the best position to be doing something like that, you know. When you look at the whole...
Took the wind out of my sails anyway, Decky. Appreciate that. I'll delete that now from the doc and we'll never use it again. We'll never mention it again.
Hey. No, we will every week. We're using this.
The rappers, as long as the rappers don't have one, we're mentioning it.
We've already beaten the rappers once in a podcast 2 years ago, and we're going to knock this one down as well. So look, keep bringing it, lads.
It is now time for Commie Watch. It's quite Commie Watch.
Commie Watch with Ivan Drago on the Other Three Amigos podcast.
Wayne, is it actually annoying the club aren't messing things up that much at the moment? Because we're running out of things to talk about here.
Do you know what? When they do mess up, right, and we complain about it, we get the blame for it. So the fact of doing things good, we take the credit for it. Because obviously they're trying to do things good because they know we'll hammer them otherwise. So I would like to say, look, lads, you're welcome.
Decky, I mean, things going swimmingly-ish at CCFC at the moment?
We're only a week on from the absolute shitstream in the women's game against Shamrock Rovers. Next weekend, we have a men's home game against Treaty, so I wouldn't be getting carried away, Dan. I'd pull the reins a small bit, I'd be honest with you, you know. Things are okay. They're running along smoothly. There was an announcement made last week. I'm sure we'll get to it there now in a minute. But that has the potential to scupper a lot of ships again, you know.
Oh,
what is this announcement, Declan, you speak of? I have no idea what it is.
It's one that we actually alluded to, Scotty, a month ago or so. You were hinting at it when you were talking about jerseys from China and things like that, you know, on numerous occasions. But seemingly, Dermot Usher, who of course owns the club, was on stage at, I don't know, was it a conference, a business conference, Scotty? Was it whatever? Somebody sent us pictures.
Yeah, it was a conference with the guy who makes the sauce as well. He sponsored the club a while back, was on it too.
Who makes the sauce?
You know the sauce, the chili sauce.
Ragu,
it's the lightweight
Dr. Ragu,
sauce.
Is it?
It's the Californian sauce. What's it called again? Is it called Californian sauce? It's some sauce, and they sponsored us, some Dublin crowd. They're obviously mates and stuff, so that's obviously was a mates do that happened.
Okay, I don't know. All right. As I said, we saw some pictures from it. It was entrepreneur. It was an entrepreneurial gig anyway, or whatnot. But we're getting sidetracked. I'm fascinated by the sauces. I'm just going to be thinking of sauces for the rest of the pod.
Yeah, I'll find out. I got pictures of it, so let me check. Good old advertising. Like, he might come and sponsor us then. Like,
yeah. Free advertising. So anyway, Dermot anyway made the announcement at this conference.
Cali
that
Foods.
We were
Cali Foods.
Cali Foods.
I'm not sure
Okay.
if that's the Colombian Cali or if it's California or it's one or the other. Cali Foods Fulfill Nutrition. There was the former owner of Sonus Bathrooms and owner of Cork City. Jim Barry, managing director of the Barry Group. Tom Gannon, CEO, business mentor, co-founder of Cali Foods and Fuel Nutrition.
Jim Barry is a nice connection back to Mallow and our area around here, because obviously Barry's headquarters.
I don't know. What does he do?
10 minutes from me. Barry's Cash and Carries. They own the Cash and Carry set up in Mallow, and they have a branch of shops then, like Musgraves of the Centres, but I can't remember which ones are the Barry's. I should know. But look, they're
it's like Super Value have like
Our best chats are never about football. Are we getting to this announcement?
Anyway, yeah, sorry. So in the midst of all this, Dermot made the announcement that we will be done with Adidas, our Sport Bachmann, at the end of the season.
Oh, do we have that win?
We will be moving. No, but we'll get it for the goodbye Sport Bachmann show at the end of the year. We'll have it all. Don't worry about it. We might even bring back our German interpreter to see if he can.
Well, no, if we're going Chinese now, we need to go China now. Like maybe it's North Korea he's going to. Ooh, that's where he's going. Obviously.
Oh, could be.
You could get away with a German impression.
No, but we might have to change the. We might have to change the Commie Watch intro back to the North Korean one. Just tie it all in, you know. But anyway, the announcement was that we are done with Adidas and Sport Bachmann, and we will be doing all our own gear merchandise under the Rebel Army clothing brand from next year, which is a massive move. Absolutely massive.
Does anyone have any confidence that it's going to go well? I don't think I do.
Personally, from experience, and I have experience doing this, I think the first batch will be sensational. I think they'll be lovely. I think the design will be lovely. I think everyone's will be perfect. I worry about the next 3 or 4 batches and our stuff then going on sale on things like Temu, Panda Buy, which is now shut down, but there'll be another one eventually. All these reps in China, I hope they know all about this, because it's a massive. Panda Buy was raided there about a month ago and shut down because Nike had to actually go there, get the police and shut it down. That's how big they thought of it. You could buy the old Cork City jerseys for $15 US dollars now. You can buy the brand new Liverpool, Arsenal jerseys over there for the same kind of price. My worry is, will the same happen with us? You know, because they'll have the template. They wouldn't bother making it from scratch because they wouldn't, because it's not a market, but they'd have the template then, and that's the worry.
Decky, you think this is a good move?
Look, I don't know, to be honest, Dan. I'm not gonna knock it, to be honest with you. It's unusual, it's new, it's inventive, so we'll have to give it time and see how it goes. There's obvious concerns around manpower, around, I mean, at the moment we can't seem to stick a crest on a jersey. How are we going to build a whole jersey? How are we going to do everything connected to it? And what I keep coming back to is that there isn't a football club in the world at the moment who produces their own gear and produces their own kits and that stuff. And there's obviously a reason for that. Yeah. And Cork City are going to be, look, it's, as I said, it's a massive initiative. I hope it works. I genuinely do. I wish them all the best in the world. But for me, the big issues are manpower and quality, and like your response, like the potential for it to go wrong is massive. And if it goes wrong, the fan base is not going to have it in any way, shape, or form. Like, and there's no get out for the club. You can't blame Sport Bachmann. You can't blame Umbro or anybody else. It's your line and it's your doing it and it's your responsibility. And like, as I said, no other club in the world does this. And that's my kind of big worry, is like, there's obvious reasons why other clubs don't do this, but Cork City are going to give it a crack.
Wayne, why do you think we are doing it? Is it just for monetary reasons?
Yeah, simple as really. And I think I actually do applaud the idea. I just hope we've had these jerseys now tested and checked, and they've used them, and not a case of they have to play matches in them because you don't know how the jersey is going to react in heat, sweat. You know what I mean? Washing them. I hope now we're not waiting. Oh, they're arriving in August. Because there's a reason why we order our jerseys 6-7 months in advance, because it takes that long to get here. If we're just at the beginning stages of this and we've announced it, we're in serious trouble, because it does take a long... Like, John O'Flynn does summer sportswear for years now. And in fairness to him, I hope he's involved in it. But either way, these jerseys are coming from Asia. Even if it's done through an Irish company or a German company, they're coming from Asia. And I just worry. I hope we're ahead of the game now, and we've all this templates all done. We've jerseys here, we've tested them, we're running in them. I hope that's happening. If it's not, yeah.
Is there any way of stopping those companies using our template, or is it just once it's there?
Absolutely not. And the thing is that they'd never try and create our jersey from scratch because it's not enough of a fan base. That's what they do with Manchester United, Man City. That's why they're on sale. If they have our template, they don't need to do that. So they can just sell the jerseys on the side. Not saying it will happen. It's just a possibility.
I suppose one thing it does lead into is we can now design our own jerseys, no matter anything we want. How we would probably have free reign.
Sublimation is you could do it yourself, like. Plenty of companies in Ireland and the UK do that. So maybe he is going through Ireland or UK, but at the end of the day, the source will be Asia.
I can definitely see us. I don't want to be too negative, but I can definitely see it going. I see it more likely being it goes terrible. We're the laughing stock of the league. We've no jerseys, or they're terrible or quality,
or he could.
I think there's a lot more bad sides.
He could be a trendsetter. He could be having the best idea ever and it works perfectly, and every club follows us. I'd love that to happen because I love innovation. I love people trying things. Just not my football club, you know.
Let Shamrock Rovers do it first, and then we'll see. Rebel Army clothing as well. Is that really something? Well, RAC, isn't that the car breakdown company anyway? First and foremost,
the Royal Automobile Car Companies or something, but it is the RAC is a British.
And then there's just going to be people searching for camouflage gear, presumably coming across our website.
Camouflage gear? Or you mean no? I don't know. But look, Rebel Army clothing. Come here, lad. Everybody wants to wear branded clothing these days. Like, to be fair, I like the whole Rebel Army clothing idea. I think if you can give the club a brand, you can give the club merchandise a brand. I think it's a big way forward, and it could be a big earner for the club as well. You know,
like rebelarmyclothing.com is available for 1 cent. The domain hasn't been bought. No, maybe .ie could be bought, but you should always buy .com, .net's available, .org, .me, .xy. They're all available. Like, surely that's the first thing you do is buy the brand name.
And if you want to buy it, you can contact Wayne Mullins.
No, yeah, I'm just going to say.
Again, is this my fault again? If this gets bought by some fella, is this my fault again for bringing it up? No, it's the club's fault for not buying the domain name. The same reason I bought Rebel Army TV years ago and told Aina, do you want it or not? Because it's about to expire. And someone's going to nick it, and eventually they took it. Same shit here again, like.
I confidently predict by the time the pod is released on Wednesday that those domains will not be available to buy, but I'm only having a guess.
We actually should just buy them and keep it for them, because this is why I have fear in this, because they haven't bought that.
But sure, they won't contact us to buy them.
Well then, whoop-de-doo. Okay, .ie is registered.
Okay, so that's probably the one. So
still though, buy.com just in case.
Yeah, always.
Or did we buy .ie? I wonder. Did we buy it? Can't remember. we could have bought it. I don't know.
Wayne, you actually at the time did you buy it?
There's a lot of domains.
You put it do you know what? I think we.
If I check the group chat, I think you actually did.
I think we did buy it. Did we? I don't know. I don't think so. In the end.
Wayne, I think you put it in the group chat.
Not for obviously, just for a placeholder. That's for any sisters listening. Just to hold on to it for someone who needs it.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
We should.
I'm back in the chats here. I know that the group chat is sanct, whatever it is, but Wayne wants, can I just clarify, we'll be merely holding on to the domain so nobody else steals it. The same as the last 3 we bought. Declan follows it up by saying,
it's true, though, I firmly believe
it for €1 million.
Oh, well, but so here's the thing.
Go.
If you have the brand Rebel Army Clothing, you have to have the website. You have to have the domains.
You have to have the website. You do.
Yeah, you do, like.
Oh.
Anyway.
€1 million coming to ToeTap very soon.
No, I just want my accreditation back.
Well, I mean, that could segue into chicken talk here quite nicely when they get pounded off the pitch.
Now this is chicken talk. This is what they say when the chickens they do laugh.
Obviously, we don't need to bleep that because he's just barking.
He's just barking.
Wayne,
yeah. Yes.
Do
we have any update on this Footgolf situation? I mean, the date is creeping closer and closer now, and I'm getting the sense like we're not going to get a reply.
I checked emails earlier. I haven't had an email yet, so
I mean, they're just chicken. Like they actually are.
There are people at the club who are willing to play, and who
there are
quite possibly want to play, but there will be no official sanctioning of any game for charity or for
why don't we do it like
or anything else
off the record game, Decky? Like, on an official game
on the day of the event, or just some random Saturday?
Oh, some random. We just get a group of friends together, a few drinks, just 5 or 6 friends who some work for the club, some don't work for the club. We go for a game of something, and we see who wins.
Could do that.
Let's do that. Do you invite out there?
Do you think that'll be taken up on?
Possibly. Who knows?
Life is a wonderful thing. Like.
It could become a weekly thing. Like it could be Footgolf one week, maybe pitch and putt the next week, snooker the week after.
Loving this idea, Declan. Loving it.
A swim the week after that. A walk around Fitzgerald's Park. There's lots of things you can do. Like.
How are we competitively walking around Fitzgerald's Park against them?
We come up with some way. We come up, laps of the park or around. I've been in Fitzgerald's Park for 20 years. There's still fountains that you can walk around and whatnot.
What we could do is offer the domain name for the winner.
I thought you wanted the accreditation. Okay. I think it's the accreditation or nothing.
When the accreditation never bothered me in the first place. You know that.
Nah,
never bothered me.
Accreditation is dead in the water.
It's not the accreditation. It's what it symbolises.
Freedom.
There's a little bit of that. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. But as I said, we have just adjusted and moved on. And sad the accreditation. You can have it, lads. You can keep it. There's no bother.
Just
to clarify for anyone listening, we cannot confirm or deny we do own any domain names belonging to Rebel Urban Clothing.
And that was
maybe we do.
Now this is chicken talk.
And now 49-year-old Britney Spears and Shania Twain blared at halftime at the Carlisle grounds.
It was pretty good. They were playing like Now 49, which was quite impressive. And then Bayer Leverkusen played David Hasselhoff Freedom when they won the title. And it was like, and they played Land of Hope and Glory. You remember Macho Man song?
Yeah.
What's
they
the
played
David
that when they were lifting the
Hasselhoff
trophy. Looking for a freedom. It was a song they played when the Berlin Wall came down. You weren't even born yet, Dan. Don't worry about it. Do you know who David Hasselhoff is?
I know who David Hasselhoff is. He was in the SpongeBob movie.
What?
And Knightrider, obviously.
All right,
Even
okay.
How do you mention Hasselhoff and not mention Baywatch, which is the first thought that myself and Wayne both had when we heard the name about Hasselhoff? Like,
do you know who CJ is, Dan?
She's the love interest, I'd say. Is she?
All right,
Is this Baywatch or what are we talking about?
This is Baywatch. It is.
Oh, what's the car?
Right, what's the Kit?
Kit.
Dan.
That's Knightrider. It's not Baywatch, obviously.
Yeah.
It'd be a good crossover, though, wouldn't it? Put Pam. What was her name?
Yeah,
CJ was Pam Anderson, wasn't it? Who was the first one?
Yeah,
who was the one? Eric. What was her name?
She wouldn't fit into the fucking.
Shawnee.
She wouldn't fit into Kit.
That's it. Yeah. Anyway, just so much for having. No, can we watch?
Although
anyway.
at this,
we'll move on.
Although at this stage, Kit would probably fit into her.
Ooh. Jesus, coming out anyway. Jesus Christ.
Anywho,
stop.
City 3, Bray Wanderers 1. You may or may not have heard that joke, but we'll review it. It's under VAR at the moment. Bagsy by 2, O'Sullivan by 1. What's Cahill's transfer fee looking like at the moment now, Wayne Mullins?
Do you know what? It's gone down the last 2 weeks, I think. I think it's around 2.5 million, I'd say.
That low?
I would say so, because there wasn't much to kind of shout about. We see, Decky said at the start of the season, we're expecting too much now. We expect it every week. And he's been one of our best players, but the trajectory is kind of leveled out a bit.
It won't be long before he's back up doing incredible.
Oh no, he's still playing really, really, really well. It's just the trajectory. He went from 0 to 100 in like fucking 3 weeks.
What type of code do you have in here? Bradley Wade, 46-41, 19-15, 89-78.
Yes. That's Bradley Wade's kickouts, right? 46 passes, 41 were successful. He had 19 long balls and 15 were successful. That's a 78%. That's amazing for a keeper. Because I used to always praise Harrington, and his passing was always quite high percentage. Bradley Wade's passing against Bray was off the charts.
Where'd you get all these stats out of?
My Excel spreadsheet. Where's the statistician?
Statistician. Some of the stats from the game, or do you want to read them out, Wayne Mullins, or will I take it? But the area stats.
You take it away. Jesus.
Possession, Bray 44%, CCFC 56%, XG, Bray 0.5, City 0.84, shots.
Just on that, that's actually quite astonishing considering we scored 3 goals. We should have only scored 0.84 of a goal that game.
Yeah. That XG is. I'm not a fan of XG. I have to say.
Yeah, I agree.
We use it as reference points, but like, do you remember Barry Coffey's miss about the 5th minute or so? When like everybody looks and goes, he has to score like something. The XG on that is really low. I'll have a look there and I will tell you, but I can't. The XG on that was only about 0.3, and you're kind of looking at it going like, stop, lads. But gee, like, you know, you should have to score there 8 times. It should definitely be 0.8 or 0.9, like, you know.
I'm going to look like more of an idiot than I normally do. How is the XG calculated?
Oh, look, Dan, they have run thousands and thousands of simulations and taken thousands and thousands of different players having shots from those positions. And then it just becomes how many times were they scored, how many times were they not scored. And that's basically it. They work it out from there. Yeah, like the XG on Barry Coffey's shot is 0.14. Like, that to me is nonsense. Like, that's a 4 out of 5. You score 4 out of 5. That should be 0.8, 0.85 to me. They have the XG on as 0.14, which makes it basically means you're about 8, say 7.5 to 1 to score. Like, stop. Like, you know, I think that's where XG falls down a little bit. But anyway, don't want to bog people down in it.
Yeah, Decky, what did you think about the game? Will you go off on a 10-minute spiel?
I thought we were quite good. First half we were excellent. Like if you put the second half in Cove and the first half in Bray back to back, it was a brilliant 90 minutes across 2 games. Obviously, we're 3-0 up at half time and we completely took our foot off the gas in the second half. And I won't give out about that because it's much different doing that at 3-0 than it is at 1-0, and not pushing on at 1-0 and looking for the second, which I think is what was happening earlier in the season. I think when you're 3-0 up at half time, you're always going to just kind of take it easy second half. Greg Bulger comes off with half an hour left, is replaced by Oren Crow. I think it did show how important Greg is to the side at times. But look, I thought it was a very good performance. I thought it was a brilliant coaching performance because you could see right from the get-go, it was a tactic. Like we were coached during the week to put the ball long and in behind them because they were playing a high line and they're probably the only side this season who've ventured to play a high line against us, and they did it in Turner's Cross as well. And straight from the kickoff, we score because we put it long over the high line, get them turned. Cian Murphy does brilliantly, puts a great ball in, and Bagsy heads it into an empty net. And already you're kind of going, well, that's great coaching, and we've scored after 45 seconds. And we did it to them all first half. Ball over the top, in behind. Ball over the top, in behind. And Bray adjusted second half. They adjusted at half time. Dealt with it much better second half. But as I said, we completely took our foot off the glass. We completely took our foot off the gas. The only thing that might annoy some people, it didn't annoy me, was like, if we'd kept pushing and kept pressing, there was probably a chance of there being 6 or 7 there for us if we really wanted to do that. But I can fully understand why games won at half time. I can fully understand why players kind of shut down second half.
Well, if we were offering €10 a goal, you can be full sure that won't happen again. They'll be instructed to go for every single one of them. Anyone who particularly impressed you, Decky?
I think Cahill had a very good game. His press forced your man into the mistake from which Cahill scored. Obviously, Bagsy scored twice. He played well. Defensively, we were sound again, bar the goal. Scotty makes a great point about Brad Wade's distribution. It was really, really good. And you could see him clipping balls into free players in midfield, especially the full-backs at times. At one stage in the first half, he dinked the ball out to the right-hand side. I can't remember, was it Dara Crowley or Bagsy who he pinged it to? But it was precision, took 2 Bray players out of it and just dinked it into him. And I think there was a lot of good performances first half. Second half, as I said, was pretty nothing but I'll take that when we're 3-0 up at half-time, to be honest.
Wade Mullins. Is Bradley Wade... See the signing of our transfer window?
No, you'd have to say Bulger and Murray and players like that. Like we've been missing a good keeper since Harrington, and even Harrington wasn't really tested in the first division, I don't think, as much. Well, no, Wade's not really tested either, but when he's needed, he's been there. He's had there's been plenty of times in games where he's been doing nothing for 70 minutes and he pulls off a wonder save. Mm-hmm. So concentration is quite good. I think he's a great keeper. Whether he could do it next season, I don't know.
Well, it's good he has this season to bed in and get used to playing League of Ireland football, get to know what it's like instead of being thrown into the Premier.
Absolutely.
Like 4 keepers were last year, and they were rudely awakened to it.
Like the worry is, like, I remember laughing at Decky last week saying pick a player he wouldn't have next season. I was actually struggling to pick players who I keep for next season. Generally, I went through it this week and I was like, 3 players. I don't mean to be harsh, but I just don't see how this team can do well next. And I'm not making the same mistake I made last time saying they were good enough. Tell Decky every week they were good enough. They weren't good enough. And I don't know, is this team... Like, it was a good game. We're 3 up. And the foot went off the gas again. And it's like...
we're 3 up, though.
We'd 4 shots and 3 of them went in. Right? That's either clinical finishing or luck. A bit of both. Like, we had 24 shots, 8 shots against Cove, 3 went in. We had 6 shots against Longford, 2 went in. Like, I don't know. I'm a bit worried. But it was enjoyable to see us 3-0 up. But then they went 3-1. I was like, for fuck's sake, lads, come on. Let's go on and just batter them off the pitch. We didn't. So I'm more pessimistic than Declan, to be honest with you.
What 3 are you keeping?
Shakers.
I'm not. I'm going to... call the Decky code thing here and just not name them yet.
We'll save it for the last pod of
obviously,
the year.
Obviously, you're keeping the young lads. No.
So you're keeping more than 3?
Well... okay, Cahill O'Sullivan and Numa, right? They're probably going to be gone. There's 3 others than them. So 5 so.
Okay. We won't go any... we won't go into any more depth than that. Wayne Mullins as a game. Decky, go on, Decky.
I was just going to say, can I just clarify for people there, when Wayne was talking about shots, you're actually talking about shots on target, aren't you, Wayne? You're not talking about the overall number of shots in the game. Shots on target, he's talking about.
Real shots.
Wayne Mullins out the field. Anyone impress you?
Out the field. Oh, yeah. I think Bargary needed those 2 goals. I think Bulger's like a Rolls Royce again. He's very good. Carl, again, brilliant. We expect it from him, though, which is worrying again. We expect it from him. I don't like these long diagonal balls we're doing. I don't like it. I'm a man. Get the ball in the box. I love it, but these aimless fucking things, I don't like it. I don't know why we're doing it.
It's obviously something they're working on in the training ground constantly. Decky, do you want to try to take
too many
that
of
one?
It's a tactic we use.
As I said Friday night, I thought it was a tactical decision because Bray were high and he just wanted to knock balls in behind them, get them turned and see what trouble we could cause them. As I said, it got us the first goal after 45 seconds, so we were never going to work away from it then. But it worked against Bray. There's other times where it hasn't worked at all. But you could see, I thought anyway, that you could clearly see that Friday night's performance against Bray was very much a deliberate coaching decision based on how Bray were going to play the game. And it worked magnificently. I'm like, when you think about Bray, or continuity Cabinteely, whatever you want to call him, I mean, Wayne, go back 3 years ago and Ian Ryan was the hottest manager in the country. Like, he was supposedly going to Bowes, it was done and dusted, and he's in Bray ever since, and he's going nowhere, like, you know? I just, his stock has completely plummeted. So Tim Clancy's job is to win the league, and that's what he's going to do, and he's going to keep his stock high. And I think it's for him and his personal, requirements and what he needs to do personally. I think it's the right thing to do. You don't want to be another Ian Ryan.
He's doing a great job. To be fair, he is. Like, we have to commend him for that. He's done a great job this season, and he's the exact manager we needed. And credit has to go to Dermot Usher getting him in. Fairness.
Yeah.
What's TIPA in the stats sheet?
Touch in the penalty area. Touches in the penalty area. So it's like
we had 12. We had 14. Our passing accuracy, 80%. That's higher than average, isn't it? I think.
The average is 76, so it's quite good. But funny enough, our passing accuracy is better away from home, which is quite strange.
I'm trying to think. Are we playing a better away from home at the moment?
We've played more games away from home.
Aerial duels, we've lost more than we've won. That's probably...
Well, it's 50-50 during the game. Well, yeah, percentage-wise, 48%. Yeah, we lost more than we won.
Decky, did you raise your hand?
I was going to say, is there a bird? Does somebody have a bird around them? I can hear tweeting.
I'm hearing it as well.
Fucking window, sorry, that's...
I thought it was outside. I thought it was outside my own window, just hearing in the background.
I know I could hear tweeting. I was like, has somebody bought a budgerigar or something, But just Wayne had the window open and the birds were happy outside. But look, the birds are obviously delighted to be listening to Wayne's synopsis of what happened in Bray on Friday night because they sounded quite excited. So
Another win in Dublin as City beat continuity. Cabinteely 3-1. Your MVP nominations are Cian Bargary wins with 51% of the vote. O'Sullivan in second with 41%. Cian Murphy in third on 5%. And then in fourth was McLaughlin. Billy Dorney says Tim Clancy is my nomination. And Gareth, I really shouldn't be here. Barry says 2 goals, Cian Bargary, banana. There is something.
There was a long way between the top 2 and the bottom 2. To be fair, wasn't there? Like, was the 2 lads got 7% of the vote between the bottom 2? Was it like it was like?
That's probably the most big of a gap between the two, or between 2 and 2.
unreal. And I thought Cian Murphy did play well. Like, I don't mind saying he was my nomination. I thought he played very well up top. He held it up. He kept things ticking over. He had the assist for Bargwy's goal. He worked the two centre backs, your man Cole Amarusan, or however you pronounce it. Useless. But anyway, that's an argument for another day. Like, but I thought Cian did well against him and exposed him, and yeah, I thought Cian might have got a few more votes, but wasn't to be.
A 3-1 for Cork City Way at Bray. Give us your one-liner in the style of a question. Go. Richie says the Dogger is off thinking about Cian Bargary tonight up against them windows. Sean says the first division is like playing on easy mode on Football Manager, isn't it? Wayne Mullins, is it?
There's no easy mode in Football Manager.
Oh, there you go, Sean. Wayne says, are you not entertained? You'll have to bleep that out, so look, it's your own doing. Ball Sean says, bring Cabinteely back. Ian Crowley says, it's safe to say self-belief was the missing piece to the puzzle all along. Hero Wars says, Dominion awaits. Beer-bellied Hoofer says, so Wayne, how will Bray backs feel after getting roasted, cut open, sore, leaky? Why was that directed at you? Oh yeah, because it is the Mullins Derby. That's a bit of a shot at you as well, it says it.
Oh, here, I'm there to be shot at. I didn't call me a prick last week, so I'm here. I don't mind at all.
Anthony Falvey says, what's Cathal O'Sullivan's value gone to at this stage? 2.5 million. Patrick P says, because Seagulls were crap tonight. Here's a question with a bonus answer. What do you call a man with a seagull on his head? This is a question to you. What do you call a man with a seagull on his head?
Mm-hmm.
Toe tappers. Say out your answers. Cliff. Garrett, I really shouldn't be here. Barry says, Hypophora? No, that is a question.
That's always some dogging term, is it?
Oh, go on, we look it up. I might be deleting my search history pretty quickly after. Hypo.
It's obviously getting hypothermia while dogging, is it?
Is it not an acronym?
Is a no. He's actually, it's very proper. Hypophora is a figure of speech wherein a writer raises a question and then immediately answers it. Usually the question is asked in the first paragraph of a written work.
Oh, okay. It's a new one.
I'd be surprised if that's what the Dogger was on about, to be honest with you. But
George Tuhick says, anyone remember thinking Bray was their best competition before the season started?
Yeah,
that was a mad time. That was Shane Keegan's fault, wasn't it?
We need to give Shane a ring, invite him back to explain himself.
James Greenham says, is Jack Doherty off the transfer list yet? Roy O'Sullivan says, shall we remain unbeaten?
We shall.
Yeah. Do you think the odds for that charity bet will still stand?
No, they've pulled it anyway. So like obviously, yeah,
did they?
Stands, but yeah, they were always going to pull it. It was always going to go to the end of that week, like I'd imagine anyway. But like, who's going to beat? Who's going to beat us? Like, seriously.
You just need a few injuries and a freak incident and a penalty or something.
Oh, I know.
I hope we do it. I think Tim Clancy deserves it.
Thomas says, if you have fun wasting time, is it time wasted? Niall Connolly says, is there abandon in Wicklow? ? Beer emoji.
Sure
do you know something there, or is he just trying to shitstar?
I have no clue. Shitstar.
LOI Observer says, what does Dan think of O'Rowley? What a performance. Now he's referring to when I was doing the Vox Pops after the Cork GA match, some young fella was saying O'Rowley, it was brilliant and how great O'Rowley was, but there's no O'Rowley on the Cork team. So that's
right, okay. Right. We'll move on from the GA crap.
What? As I wear my... The boom was back, man. The boom was back. 2 games.
Move on. I don't want to hear about it.
I've seen a load of commandos at the GA game.
I don't care. That's fine. It's a Cork City podcast. Park the GA stuff. Onward. March on. Cork City. That's what people are here for.
That
Put my foot down. I'm putting my foot down, Daniel. Foot down.
That concludes the end of the first half, Toe Tapper. Come back to us in the second half. We'll have an update from the Dogger Barry. I think it's going to be a good one. We have Deckys Room 101. We have the treaty preview. Of course, we have Pinnacle Patrol.
Hey there, Toe Tapper. This podcast is sponsored by NordVPN, and we have a deal of a lifetime. So listen up. Are you still surfing the web with all your personal info hanging out? That's like going to Fountainstown with your Mickey dangling for all to see. But fear not, my digitally exposed friend. NordVPN is here to hide your pecker. With NordVPN, you can cloak your online presence faster than the club counts gate receipts. Say goodbye to those pesky ad trackers and hello to streaming shows from all over the globe. Want to watch a dodgy stream without it buffering? NordVPN might just make it happen. And hackers trying to steal your data? They'll have better luck finding Kimberly Mikado in the tea room. NordVPN's got more layers of security than the VIP section on match day. So what are you waiting for? Get NordVPN today and surf the web with style, security, and a sprinkle of quirkiness. Go to nordvpn.com/toetap for our exclusive deal. It's practically free. You miserable.
Welcome back to part 2, Toe Tapper. It is now time to go to You Say It Best. Read best.
You say it best when you leave a voice note.
Every time he gets me.
We have an update, Wayne Mullins, from...
How are things? It's the main man back himself here again, man. Just reminding you that no matter how well the club is doing, it was me and Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, Ronaldo had the longest gap between Premier League appearances in the whole history of Premier League, man. I'm serious. I mean, fuck, Jade Numa wouldn't do that, like. Do you know what I mean? Ronaldo.
Magic, just magic, just magic.
Grand 3-1 win. We're strolling towards this division. Bray aren't up to much. I thought we'd hockey him after the first half an hour. I said we'll get 6 or 7 here. Like, all the leaves need to say is the man from The Simpsons.
We've one more. There was a video sent into my phone, and a little bit disturbing. So we're going to read that on Twitter, but we're going to play the audio, and it goes like this.
Yeah, here I am, lads. Down in the woods, in Lisgould, by the car park, and the car has just pulled up. Kind of quiet and kind of eerie, but I don't want to get caught. Oh my God, there's somebody in the car. Oh my God. Oh Jesus, they saw me, I think. Oh my God, and I heard as well about Kieran Baggery. Or Cian Baggery, is it? Oh my God, he got 2 goals. Oh my God, this is like, I don't know. I think I'm lost in the woods. Help me, guys. Do you know how to get out of here? If you don't hear from me in the next few days, I'm in the woods in Lisgould somewhere. Hopefully, to get out. There's the car park. There's somebody in the car. Oh, it's moving. This is the dogs, though. Friday night lights. Who needs League of Ireland football when you got the woods of Lisgould? Goodbye.
Wow.
No, lad, I've sent you the video there, right? It's the greatest I've ever seen in my life. No, do we tweet it?
You have to. If he sent it in, you have to.
Is he recognisable in it? Like, can you see his face? Like,
no, it's. Do you remember the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
It's literally like that, but it's dogging in the school. Oh, it's very. I'll cut this part
on his phone.
Like, I've only heard the audio now, and that was the first time I heard it. But like, it had big David Attenborough vibes off it. Like, for a while, it opened up. I thought it was like we were going to hear about some rare animal in the woods in the schools, but.
Anyway, we crack on. That's it. Yeah, we're going to tweet that. We tweet that.
Down in the woods.
Oh my word. Lads, we might have
this has to be weekly. This has to be weekly.
We're having a weekly one.
Like, we'll all be witnesses. I'm telling you, we'll be witnesses in a court case yet, lads, where your man's defence will be that he was providing content for this podcast and he just feels like he went too far. I can tell you, I can see it happening. Like, I can see it happening.
Oh, Treaty away.
Does anyone know him? Does anyone recognise him? Have you met him? No.
Treaty at home. Never been introduced to the dogger. Treaty at home this coming Friday. Wayne Mullins, what team are you going with?
It's the Jason Shanahan Derby. Same team again. You got to go again. You can't change it unless there's injuries, suspensions, which I don't think there is.
No,
you got to go the same, and you got to go. Just go there and win the game. Do the exact same thing. Put pressure on it straight away, and get the result. But just keep playing this time, and just keep at it. Don't just if it's a case of needing fresh legs on, get Balger off, get the older lads off, and get the young fellas on, and just give them game time, and just get the 3 points and get home.
Decky, how do you see this one going?
I think we win. I think, like Tim said, it was at last week's press conference that guys knowing they've been told that it doesn't matter if you're man of the match the previous Friday night. There's a chance you won't start the following Friday because he's rotating the squad and he knows what he wants to do. And so, like we saw Jaden sit out the other night, and Keane Bargery comes in and gets a brace. So, there is merit to it, definitely. So it does make it kind of hard to pick his teams, but I'd largely agree with Wayne. You're going with as many of the same again. Like, he's obviously not going to change any of the back five. I think that's almost set in stone now. So I think the changes will come around Bargery or Uma. When Jack comes back, I think there will be a little bit of rotation around those central midfielders, stroke 10. I think he's going to play Cian Murphy a lot of the time as the 9 until we either add to that position or the season ends. So look, we'll have to wait and see what team he picks. But we went up to Treaty, and I can remember the podcast afterwards, and we were saying like Treaty were defensively the best side we had played all season.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Tim said we had 13 players unavailable that night due to injury. And the thing is, Treaty haven't won since that night. They've drawn a few games, but they actually haven't won.
They only have 14 points. They're sitting in 8th place.
Yeah, they did look very good against us that night. So they're obviously going to implement the same plan where they'll give up the wings to us and just stifle us down the middle of the park. But I think the problem for Treaty now is that we're much better out wide with Bagsy back, Jaden playing well than we were that night in Limerick. Obviously Sean Murray didn't play that night. He'll probably play Friday night. Coffey's playing better. We're just a better side than we were that night in Limerick, and they, by any measurable component, seem to be a worse side. So you'd have to fancy us. The only thing is, the longer it stays 0-0, the more confident they're going to become in what they're doing. If we can get an early goal, I think you'll win by 3 or 4 again.
Score prediction.
I'm going to say 4-0.
1-1 draw, Wayne Mullins.
Just about to say it, yeah. 1-1.
Is that an actual prediction, or is it just part of the joke?
Who knows? A little bit from Colin A, a little bit from Colin B.
It's going to be Deckys 4-2 thing now. Like, even Queenstown are above them in the table. Sure, we all know the story there, like.
He's a Jason Shannon effect, though. So,
like
It's
Trinity
time.
have been they've had a lot of injuries as well. We should just recognise that fact.
I fear of him. It's now time for Deckys Room 101.
For what? For what?
Oh, it's a new segment.
That's when we were picking their players who we wanted to ditch one a week. Remember? So this is number one. Who are you going to room 101?
No, is there anything out there non-football related or non-football related, Decky?
What would you change with Cork City next season, Declan? That's the question. One thing per week, you tell us.
If you told me you were doing this, I might have had time to actually think of something. Like,
so we come back to you in 5 minutes. We go jacking off now. I'll go for it. Yeah.
No, I'm going to try and buy time. Yeah, give me the 5 minutes. What you want? One thing I'd change about Cork City next season.
Yep.
I've been jacking off.
Decky.
My me. You left me and I'm in heat. What else can I do? 'Cause my wet dreams are just getting true. I've been jacking off.
Apologies.
I thought you were just going to play that for 5 minutes while he thinks of an answer. That's the Panenka Patrol one. Did Jack Doherty score Panenka this week for €250 for the much needed facilities in Marymount? No.
I've been jacking off.
Decky.
My me.
His favourite player is Jack Doherty.
What else can I do? 'Cause my wet dreams are just getting true.
He has it. Go on.
An easy start. Pretty obvious one, but the stream provider and the way we do our streams, as Wayne has pointed out numerous times, has to change. We have to bring in a proper organization, a proper group of people who know what they're doing and can deliver quality streams with replay and all those things attached, like Cove Ramblers had, like Kerry had. And as long as we don't, this podcast will compare the club stream to streams in Cove and Kerry. And you don't want to be in the Premier Division having your stream compared to Cove and Kerry. Surely you don't. You don't.
I've been jacking off.
That song hasn't been played this much for a long, long time. But that just kind of brings us in nicely. I mean, it looks like I had the game up here, or the result of the match, on my phone. Wexford had scored to put Gary Hunt under pressure. But it looks like, from what I can see, the goal has been disallowed because it's been taken back. So Wayne Mullins, Gary Hunt survives by the skin of his teeth once again.
He does. So is Gary Hunt under pressure again? Maybe. Time
will tell. It's written Gok Wayne wise in the works at the moment. It did count. Gary Hunt is under pressure. Just
Gary Hunt. Can we go? Can we start it again, Dan? Can we start it again?
Bit of poetic justice here.
Yes, he is.
For tonight against Wexford. Is there written in the pipeline for all the Gok Wayne fans out there?
The two hats can't wear because it's too hot. I can't wear the polo shirt.
Such a bucket hat.
Oh yeah, but that's buying a new kit though. We still got to use. We actually probably should just hand them all off now to charity, because the only thing I'm keeping is the jersey. Maybe the gilet.
I was going to say
after all that, you're keeping the gilet.
I'm going to keep the gilet
just as a memory. Are you actually going to wear it? Have you been wearing it?
Not in the heat, but I did wear it. I had my secret at the walks out with the dog and stuff. I'm not allowed to wear it at home. Like the wife won't let me.
Oh, you're under instruction.
Oh, absolutely under instruction not to wear that gilet anywhere outside the house.
Right. It is now time to go to the mailbag here on Toe Tap.
Postman pattern in black and white cat.
Can't mix.
Early in the morning, one bag of man is yawning. He pick up all of the post bag in a hand.
A real bad man.
Postman pattern, he mix up cat.
Team light skin.
All of the bird them singing, but partner fool him a roll with the big pen. Just in case them try to rob him.
Jason Shannon's.
Sorry, Declan?
It's way too long.
No, it's absolutely not. You had control. You gave it up. Get over it. I'm in control of this shit now.
I kind of like the long version. You know, he mixes it up. It's like 2 songs in one.
I'm going to look for a longer version actually for this now. Just to kind of put you back.
Get a 10-hour looped version from YouTube. I think you can download them.
Yeah.
Jason Shannon says, "What's the more anticipated rematch? Fury versus Usyk or Cork City versus the Shopping Centre in the FAI Cup?"
Ooh, tough one, isn't it? Did you watch the fight? Did you?
It's not tough at all.
I didn't.
No, it's not tough at all. I mean, I want the Shopping Centre.
There's revenge here. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I haven't been able to walk into Heiberger since.
Yeah, that's that 50% off celebration sale and pennies for the week afterwards. Like, there's no place for that in football. No place for that in the modern game. And they think we're going to take it lying down. They have another thing coming to them. So I want the Shopping Centre, and I want to beat them. I want to beat them bad. And
would you not be expecting a bit of crowd trouble at that one?
Well, look, they did bring it on themselves, as I said. Like, there was a lot of noses put out of joint by that pennies 50% off celebration sale, and then you had the restaurants giving free desserts with a main course. Like, I mean, what kind of bollocks is that? Like, so, you know, they made their bed. Now they can lie in it, as far as I'm concerned.
Boring Keane Coleman says, "Feel like I'm so close to knowing Decky now that 1 hour photo is a biographical movie of us." Question for all of you. What's your favourite way of wasting time in your daily lives? And when you at your most productive? I love bin night. Decky, what activities do you like to get up to that waste your time?
Phone. Absolutely. The phone. Like, whatever. Twitter, Cork City Forum, random Twitter threads, whatever. Like, but if I'm wasting time, that's what you'll find. I'll have my phone in my hand without fail.
What's the forum like nowadays?
It's pretty much the same as ever. I guess it's probably not as lively, Scott, as it was maybe 5 or 10 years ago in terms of. I think a lot of people view things the same now. There used to be kind of different camps there back in the day that were continually in battle. That doesn't happen as much anymore. But look, it's still very entertaining at times. It's still a great spot, and we sponsor it. So, yeah, by all means, if you're not signed up to the Cork City Forum, you should go check it out and sign up and join in all the highly logical debates that happen on a daily basis.
I'm rarely anymore because it just doesn't load for me anymore. It takes like 3 or 4 minutes for a page to load, so I just give up on it really. So I'm rarely on it.
What's your favourite way of wasting time, Wayne?
I spend far too much time on Football Manager. Far too much time of a person my own age should be doing. But it's what I do. Do you know?
And when you at your most productive?
I would say playing Football Manager. I think with the kids, I think with the kids, I spend a lot of time with the kids. Like, and I think it's very important in the age they are, and you kind of do things with them, and you know, spend the time and help them grow, watch them grow and stuff. Do you know?
Dickie, when are you most productive?
when I'm putting these podcasts together, getting them ready to go out. Between this one and Last Damas and everything else, I think that's about as productive as I get in the week. Aside, obviously, from my own.
Hang on.
Sorry, I was
How
going
about
to
you,
say,
Dan?
aside from my job.
Waste my time. I have to agree with Decky and say the phone. It's just there, and it's just too easy to go on it. Although I think it's died a battery like a few times. This is such a boring Keane Coleman question. It's died a battery a few times, and I've been fine without it. I didn't crave it when the battery had died, and I was like, "Oh, the phone's dead now," and I was without it for ages. So once I realised that, to be honest, it didn't really even bother me. Most productive. For some reason, I always work better in the mornings. I don't know why. Then as the evening goes on, if I have lunch in me, a big lunch, there's there's not much being done there. It was like City the other night, just kind of take the foot off the gas the second half, you know what I mean? Ian Crowley says, is there any real connection with City fans? I know he touched on it before, but it becomes more evident each week. Well, he did kind of follow it up with Cork City FC women show the men's team up 100% with their interactions with the fans. Are Cork City FC doing enough? Hashtag 250 your mascot. Decky.
Oh, I think there's layers to that. I think like the women's team give huge times to fans after the game. They sign autographs, they take photographs. But I think that's a slightly different environment to the men's game. You don't see any men's team anywhere in the world doing that kind of stuff. No, maybe they should. And maybe if we want to be inventive and be leaders and things, maybe that's one thing we could look at doing. But in terms of school visits and charity work and all this kind of stuff, my understanding, the last time I asked was probably 3 years ago, but my understanding was that the PFAI contracts more or less don't allow for it, don't allow for players to partake in huge amounts of outside activities. Their hours are more or less strictly monitored via, they train for so many hours and then you have a match day and they have 2 days off, and there isn't much room built into the contracts to allow them to do other things for clubs. And I think that's a big issue nationwide, league-wide. I think it's something that needs to be looked at. No, I've no problem with paying players to go to schools, or, I don't expect anybody to give up their time for nothing, but my understanding, as I said, is it's a standard PFAI contract. Everybody is basically on the same contract. All that changes is the amount of money you're paid. And I think the clubs probably need to sit down together and start looking at different types of contracts for different players, and maybe trying to get a little bit more out of the PFAI, or maybe getting a little bit more out of the players in terms of what they can do and will do off the pitch, in my opinion.
Wayne Mullins.
Yes.
Is there any real connection with City fans?
I've said since the start of the season, there isn't. I don't see why players who are suspended or players who are injured can't go off and do it while they work. Like most businesses, you get a volunteer day. You get like 3 days a year to volunteer. So you take the day off work, technically, and you get paid still, and you volunteer. Now, say someone like, don't put any names, say a player is suspended or a player's got like an injury that doesn't affect walking or going somewhere, they can do these events, No, we're just getting paid, and it's on work time, so I don't see why they can't do it.
Go around to the schools, do talks,
just 2 or 3
try to get
hours.
more kids going to the games.
Players get 2 volunteers day a year, and it can be they get a week off during the season, paid, not training, not playing. Why can't they do an extra few hours during the rest of the season? Next player gets suspended, send him into a school for 3 hours. What?
It's the PFAI and the terms of the contracts and things like that. That's my understanding.
It's ridiculous. Well, it gets someone from the PFAI and we talked to him.
We were so close to getting Ali Cahill on that time, and then he left the PFAI before he came on, but he was willing to come on and talk those things through with us, and just unfortunately
what's he doing now?
He left the PFAI then. I don't know, to be honest with you. Last I heard, and I don't want to be wrong here, but he did an interview somewhere shortly after he left the FAI, or after he left the PFAI. It could have been with Johnny Ward and Dan McDonald and LOI Central. And I think he said he was just the house husband. He was minding the kids because his wife was working. But as I said, I don't want to be wrong about that. I don't want to swear on that. But that's what I remember him saying.
Let's try and get him on again.
Go on, Decky.
No, I was just going to say I lost the contact because the only contact I had from was his PFAI email address, and obviously when he went, that went. So.
Liam Roach comes in with a good question here and says, lads, if you could set up your own LOI team anywhere in the country, where would you put it and what would you call it? That's a good question now. I think Tipperary is crying out for a football team. I know a lot of the South Tip lads be Cork City fans, but I just think like it's a huge county.
Yeah, you'd have to say Tipperary.
I might have said Mayo, but that's in the works.
It is, and Clare. Don't think anyone. If you do something, it would have to be in the town centre, though. You can't really have this kind of Longford thing where you're miles out. You'd have to go Tipperary, but then where in Tipperary would you go? Would you go Clonmel, Kerr? Would you go North
Thurles,
Tipperary?
Cashel, yeah.
It's a tough one, like.
Thurles is probably the most central, I think.
Probably. Would you put one in Laois? No, it's Dublin again.
Kilkenny.
They had it like in their stadium. We used to love Buckley Park. Kilkenny, yeah. I think Kilkenny or Tipperary.
Decky.
Kildare. And
they tried that though recently, didn't they? Didn't Dermot Rush try to revamp Kildare?
Yeah, there's been talks about Kildare. There's been talks about Kildare for a long time. There's such a huge population there. You're just on the outskirts of Dublin, and you have the road network. And yeah, I know, but you have the road network and everything else. Like, I mean, if you go, like I know you guys, Tipperary is a great shout. But where does a soccer team in Tipperary play? Where do they even? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just facilities is such a big. And look, obviously Kildare would have the same issue. But like if you call them the Kildare Thoroughbreds or something, they could maybe play on the Cora, stick 2 goalposts on the Cora, and I don't know the finishing straight, the 5 furlongs to the finishing line or something, 2 goalposts, and you have a stand, you have facilities, you have TV cameras, you have bars, you have food outlets, everything's there. Like, just obviously can't play at home on a Sunday afternoon.
The Isle of Man tried to enter the League of Ireland a few years back. Do you remember? That was a good idea.
Was it the Isle of Man or was it? I can't remember exactly. No,
was it a shell company for something in Wexford or something? Was it?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, it was weird. Wasn't it Americans were behind it or something?
It was Canadians, isn't it?
Pesky.
They had a Twitter
Canadians.
account and everything.
Yeah. What did they call it? Was it Island FC or something? Was
it? Short pod again. Are we done?
I think we're done, lads. I think we're done. That concludes this episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. What?
Someone did ask to put a song on. They requested a end of pod song.
Okay.
Did I copy it over? Did I? I didn't. It was a dogging song anyway.
Okay. Can I suggest this week's one? I was thinking last week after him. We should try and tie him into shit that's happened on the pod if we can at all. I know it'd be difficult, but I was thinking when you mentioned the Berlin Wall at some stage, Scotty, during the pod, it popped in. You said David Hasselhoff's song was the Berlin Wall song, but to my head, the Berlin Wall song was always, can't think of the name of the fucking song now, of course.
Nina Hagen?
Me. No.
Stop swearing.
The Rockers. Okay, well, I'll do the edit if you want. There's no bothering free.
No, I'll do it.
There was the moment on a glory night when the children of tomorrow dream away.
No. Oh, I know what. What is it? Keep going.
Wind of Change. Wind of Change was always the Berlin Wall song for me, if you remember it.
From the Scorpions or from Culture?
Yes, the Scorpions. That's correct. That's the one. Dan has never heard this song in his life.
I heard the whistling bit. I know. I actually, I couldn't tell you the name of it, but I have heard it.
Right. All right. Yeah. That it's so.
Be sure to give us a subscription on Patreon, patreon.com/ToeTap. From all of us here. Nothing left to say, but adios.
Adios, amigos.
listening to the wind of change. An August summer night, soldiers passing by, listening to the wind of change.
The next episode will be available very soon.